Welcome to the show today. My guest is Erin Cass of Healthy Aging. She has a plethora of experience and a passion for the subject. We have a lot to cover, so let's get to it. Thank you for being here, Erin.
Thank you, Lisa.
I want to first introduce just your path to service and working with nonprofits and how that led you to work with Healthy Aging. So I believe it began for you in 1998.
That's right. It's a fortunate path because after graduating from college, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. So I signed up for a position through AmeriCorps, and I became an AmeriCorps Vista with RSVP, Retired Senior Volunteer Program, which luckily gave me the opportunity to do intergenerational programming, placing older adults into the school setting with younger children for tutorial programs. So it was very rewarding. We implemented programs in the Aniat area, in Waterville, and the Wenatchee Valley. And actually some of these tutorial programs are still going on today.
So that was a volunteer position that and you were paid a stipend.
A stipend. So AmeriCorps is not a job, but it's a member position where you're offering service work. So filling gaps of unmet needs in communities. It was very rewarding. I was even able to pay off some college loans through an educational award that I received at the end of my service. So I highly recommend.
Where did you go from there?
Which led me to bravely interviewing for the Wenatchee Valley Literacy Council executive director job. I had worked with literacy-based programs. I felt brave enough to apply, and they actually hired me. I was 24 or 25. What a great experience and entry into the nonprofit sector.
And tell me about what did you do there? What was your role?
Gosh, a lot of fundraising. It was a small nonprofit at the time. We were located on the Wenatchee Valley College campus in a small portable, and primary functions were placing volunteer tutors with students who are either learning to acquire the English language, ESL, or learn to read and write, ABE students, they called it. So we worked really well with the adjunct program through the college, which offered ABE, ESL classes. And so the tutoring program was really complementary to what the college was already doing. So we always had a long list of students waiting to be placed with a tutor. It was very, very cool. And it was all due to the volunteer tutors that made it happen.
You know, I wish I would have known about a program like that when I was younger. So my grandmother, it was she was both from Mexico. Her family, our heritage is Mexico and Spain. Okay. And she quit work. I mean, she quit school to work in elementary school. Oh. I think around 4th grade.
Wow.
And so she didn't learn to read or write. And when I was younger, she didn't drive either. And so I was more fascinated with her not driving. I didn't understand that she didn't read or write. You know, it didn't come up much when I was younger. And as I got older, I began to understand that she couldn't do either of those. And around teenage years or early 20s, I offered more than once to try to teach her how to read. And I don't know that I would have known how to teach someone how to read. I just thought, well, I can read. I can show her how to read. And she had no interest in it. And I guess that we were probably, 30 years or 40, 35 years apart. So she was already in her 50s by the time I was offering this. And I think there was a lot of, she felt ashamed that she couldn't read. But she was lovely in that she would, when she knew how to write each of our names or our addresses, we always got a birthday card. And when I got married, she learned how to write Wesley's name. And then when we had Hunter, she'd learn how to write his name. And so she did, and she took the bus to town. So she learned the bus schedule. She went to town every day and walked every day. And so she had a full life in this very small part of the world that she built for herself. But if I had known about something like that, maybe it would have been more comfortable for her to learn from someone else other than me, especially since I wouldn't have necessarily known how to go about teaching her.
Right. I think you touched on an important aspect, is that she focused in on what was meaningful to her, family, bus schedules, access, mobility. I think that's a beautiful story. And I think there's a lot of people out there that have that need or desire to learn the things that matter in their world. Maybe they don't want to read great works of literature, but I know that the Literacy Council is still active and well, and it's at Chelan Douglas Community Action Council. So I really recommend this program if someone's looking for more of an intimate experience working one-on-one with a tutor in a confidential setting. I think it's a great outlet, and it's always free, of course.
It's interesting too how reading and writing. Like I think about my other grandmother on my dad's side of the family, Norwegian woman, also didn't drive, and she had 5 kids. I don't know how that is. It wouldn't be possible today. I guess it is possible. There are people who don't drive and have so many children, but then, they walk to everything and they live near their school and all of that. But she played Scrabble. She was a wordsmith. And somewhere I think I must be a combination of both of them. And just like my passion for words maybe came from my grandmother not being able to use them. And my passion for words may have come from my grandmother teaching me how to use them. So I don't know. I think it helps us evolve into who we are, these little pieces of our lives that we may not realize it at the time, but now. Absolutely. And that brings me to my point about your career. I talk to a lot of people on the show, and I just recently gave a talk to seniors who graduating high school about to go out into the world, and they wanted to know how I got the career I have. And they had many speakers come throughout the year, and I don't have a specific step-by-step. There wasn't a plan. There were a lot of forks in the road, a lot of forks in the spokes too, when things didn't go so well or as I planned. And what would you say about, you were 24 or so when you got that first executive director position that led you to these others? Did you have a set path, or following your passion just led you to the places that you are now?
Yeah, I love people, first of all, but I think my path was successful because I didn't say no to much. Someone asked me to be on a board of directors. I said, sure. Of course, I want to make sure it was a little bit in alignment with my passion. However, even if it's not par to your passion, I think joining those boards, exposing yourself to people from all different aspects, different professions, whether it be for-profit or nonprofit, there is such a wealth of community and people here that just believe in what they do. And I think being young, listening to people with life experience was the most beneficial. But I said yes to a lot. I joined a lot of different committees or boards. I volunteered a lot. And all of these experiences led to me where I'm at, led to my path. And I do love the nonprofit sector. I have deviated in the past and worked for a for-profit, learned a lot there, but all roads lead back to nonprofit for me, at least.
Well, you were also the executive director for Wellness Place.
Yes.
Which is the cancer support organization founded by Dr. Carl Kobeck. And I volunteered as on the steering committee at one point for a couple of years. Yes. And what I found, and you talk about profits, for-profits or nonprofits, it's about the people we surround ourselves with. And I worked with the radio stations doing all the community outreach, pairing nonprofits with businesses a lot of the time. And so then you go into the businesses and you find out that there are certain businesses in our community that support nonprofits, and there's some that just don't. They run their business and they don't participate in any of that. And I find that the more I surround myself with people with like passions, then I feel elevated to do the things in the nonprofit world that are possible.
Absolutely. Working at Wellness Place with an incredible board of directors, Dr. Kobeck, Dr. Halgren, Dr. Weber. There's so many just names and people I'll never forget. But also just the people I met walking through our doors, people who have just learned the most devastating news that they'll ever hear, and meeting them at where they were at when they walked through the doors, to working with people who were so generous with their time and money. Gosh, what a great experience. Not only cancer support, but Wellness also had a health promotion program in their connection with Department of Health for fall prevention programs. So not only did we offer cancer support, we also had an avenue which led to wellness programs. So the SAIL program, Stay Active and Independent for Life, was very rigorous when I joined as director in 2012. And so thusly led me to my path with working with older adults and fall prevention.
So that laid you own a company now called Healthy Aging, and then you have a position with AmeriCorps now.
So yes, I have two hats.
Yes. So tell me about the
Healthy
position you hold, and that's a new position, fairly
aging.
new.
They work really well together. That's why I applied with Chelan Douglas Community Action Council. So my new job is AmeriCorps Program Director and AmeriCorps Seniors Program Director. AmeriCorps Seniors is essentially the RSVP program, which is, back in 1998.
Takes you all the way back. Yeah.
Yeah, full circle, came back to working with RSVP. Luckily, I work with Karen Bregman, who is our program coordinator there, and she's been there for 23 years. She really knows what she's doing. So I mostly listen to her.
that whole tool of listening. Well, let's take a break. When we come back, let's start talking about healthy aging, and then we'll get to AmeriCorps later in the show. We're talking with Erin Cass. We'll be back in just a moment. We're talking with Erin Cass today. She is the owner of Healthy Aging. We're going to talk about that specifically now. You've had the company for a few years now.
Yeah, 3 years.
3 years. And you formed it out of a passion for the work you've done with seniors over the years. And tell us just what Healthy Aging offers and where it's going.
Well,
that's a loaded question.
No, it came to be because fall prevention programming is the focal point for healthy aging. Health promotion programs evidence-based health promotion programs could comprise of a lot of different things, whether it be chronic disease or diabetes. My pathway is fall prevention because I really see a lot of value in it. And I think it's a topic that most people don't necessarily want to talk about. So I
understand. I thought fall prevention was, honestly, because I contacted you when my mom fell. And I thought fall prevention was like you fall, how do you get back up safely?
Right. No.
Which that's not prevention at all.
No, we're doing interventions.
To keep from falling. My mom slipped on my brother's slippers and walked down some stairs with no railing and fell down the stairs, broke her rib. And then still went out to the car to get the Halloween stuff to bring back in the house before everybody woke up.
She was in shock.
And ended up in the ER within an hour. And it's the slippers that she put on and walking down the stairs without the rail. And, it's these things that it helps you look at your environment differently to not just prevent yourself from tripping, but prevent yourself from, going into an area of the home wearing shoes that you shouldn't, or
right.
Any of those
Sometimes
things.
Just being together with a group in the programs that we offer, talking about it, voicing it out loud, our vulnerabilities, our things that we do that we know we shouldn't. And just having someone next to you say, yeah, I do that too, and I shouldn't. And I'm trying to be more mindful of that. Those things add up.
Because that voice will come up in your head when you're doing something that you shouldn't, that's not safe.
When you're on the table, you're
trying
to change the light bulb and you think, no, I shouldn't be doing this, but we do it anyway. Or carrying 8 bags of groceries in one trip from the car. Yeah. Or slippers or flip-flops, right?
Right. I definitely think I've noticed my mother-in-law, there's shoes she just doesn't wear anymore. It's just, it's not safe for her to just slip something on.
He'll counter
depending on where she is, right? Depending on where you are. If you're in your home, it's a little different, but if you're going to be going up and down stairs or be out in public, and I think about it every time I drop ice from the ice maker and I'm thinking, I got to clean that up. Somebody's going to slip, right?
Pick it up right away.
Pick it up right away.
One of our questions in Matter of Balance. So we have 2 programs under Healthy Aging's programming, actually 3, but SAIL, I mentioned it earlier, it's Stay Active and Independent for Life. It is an exercise-based fall prevention program where our volunteer instructors that are trained, so I'm considered a master trainer for this program. We train volunteers, and we have such a great base of volunteers that have been doing this for 10 plus years in our valley. We're really lucky. It's a national program, but Washington State and our region is kind of we're kind of the best. Everyone looks to our area for the SAIL program, much in part because of our instructors. So they lead these classes 2 to 3 days a week. They're free, and there's fidelity involved. There's mandatory components like a warm up. There's cardio in a certain time allotment. There's balance exercises, static and dynamic. There's a strength component using your own body weight and or weights, and then flexibility with education component. So if you follow that, guidelines, that comprises of an evidence-based program. Fidelity is important. We want to make sure our instructors are delivering this program the right way, so there's no more harm being done. But the socialization of people coming together to do this is just the most wonderful thing.
I went to a cancer survivor support group, or when I was going through cancer.
Yeah.
And then, and that was in Northern California where I lived at the time. And then I went to a widows support group when I lived in Houston after my husband passed away. And for me, being with like people and also having a place to go, I think that I know of a couple of people who've participated in the SAIL program, and for them, it really is about community and surrounding yourself with people who are going through like experiences and getting to share, because you end up talking, you end up sharing, you end up making friends. So, I think it's a comfortable place for people to be who are going through similar situations.
Absolutely. Some people have been doing SAIL for, like I mentioned earlier, 10 plus years. And, whether they're doing it seated or standing or using a walker, it all can be done. And the instructors are just the best. So if anyone's interested,
you come as you are, as you are, doesn't.
Yeah. And if people don't show up after a few weeks, people are thinking, well, where'd Lisa go? They'll call and do a little check. So it's a community. I recommend these classes. Again, they're scattered about with the Wenatchee Valley in our region. Leavenworth has a class, Tonasket. It's a great opportunity. Quincy has a vivacious group. So.
Well, tell us then, for someone who's watching, why would they contact you? What service, give us a general idea of what service they'd contact you for because of Healthy Aging, the company that you.
Right. Why is Healthy Aging needed? Right. Well, I could be a conduit to the programs that we offer. I can help you either be placed into a SAIL class and or get you trained to be an instructor. I help with the fidelity piece, and that we meet with instructors 4 to 5 times a year. Luckily, I draw in Justin Harris, who's a physical therapist, and he keeps people doing the motions and the exercises just so, answers a lot of questions. Another program that we have is called A Matter of Balance. And A Matter of Balance is another evidence-based fall prevention program that I like to call it's almost a precursor to SAIL. It's for the individual who's reticent about joining a SAIL class. Maybe they're not ready to be and about with a group of people, but they have a fear of falling and or have experienced a fall. So A Matter of Balance is a group program, 8 to 12 people, where you come together in a confidential setting. It's a cognitive restructuring program. It's teaching people how to be assertive. We introduce low impact exercises, static and dynamic balance exercises. We also teach one how to get up from a fall in a safe manner. And we bring in a physical therapist or an occupational therapist to help with that. We talk about home safety checklists. We do a lot of discussion, best practices, and there's 8 classes that comprise a workshop. And we found that people really get close really quickly. They're sharing their most vulnerable, practices with each other. Friendships are evolving as we speak in these classes. And for what we're finding is that people, want to stay with that Matter of Balance group and continue exercising or being together, or moving on to a SAIL class. So I'm really proud of the Matter of Balance program and how it's incorporating lives and bringing people together. It's talking about a really hard topic, which is falls. And it's offered now in the Wenatchee Valley for free at the YMCA.
Well, anyone who wants to get more information about it will have your contact information there at the bottom. Yeah. It's there now. And I just think the work that you do, if you follow your passion, right?
Yeah, right.
You can get to that goal. Let's take a break. When we come back, let's talk about your AmeriCorps work and how people can get involved with that program. We'll be back in just a moment. We're talking with Erin Cass. I let our audience know we had a lot to cover today. So now we're to the AmeriCorps portion of our conversation. You work there now in a position in addition to running your business, Healthy Aging. Tell people how they can get involved with AmeriCorps, because I know you have several volunteer positions, and the age range for people who want to participate.
Right, AmeriCorps is great. It's housed under Chelan Douglas Community Action Council where I work. AmeriCorps is like a domestic Peace Corps. It's a service opportunity which allows someone to be placed into a nonprofit setting. We have lots of opportunities for one to get on the job experience, learn more about nonprofits, maybe even it will lead to a job opportunity. Their year service time frame. Again, there's benefits such as a stipend, living allowance. There's educational award, which is $6,500, which can help pay off either college debt or help someone get into a college or a trade school. There's healthcare, there's professional development, lots of opportunities. So the positions that we have available right now are awesome. Our Valley, Our Future has a position available. Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center, Skills Source, the college has an open spot. We have positions at Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center, even up in Leavenworth at the Tierra Learning Center. So there's so many different opportunities one could potentially learn from, and I'd be happy to help someone walk that path.
Well, and you started in 1998 doing this exact thing, and now you're working for, it's a full circle sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
When you have volunteers who come in, what age group, first of all, what age do you accept volunteers? Yeah.
It could be 17 to 99 or 106, whatever age. That's a misconception. A lot of people think, oh, AmeriCorps is just for a younger subset, and that is not the case. We have two AmeriCorps in their mid to late 70s serving right now, one at the Literacy Council and the other in our food distribution center through Chelan Douglas Community Action Council. And Roberta does a great job with the mobile pantry that is very well loved in our community, as well as the Empty Bowls program. So there's a lot of opportunity, and we welcome all ages.
Well, and it's actually a really good opportunity for people who are retired, who need that maybe supplemental income or the supplemental insurance.
Right. And another bonus, I should mention this, if you're over the age of 55 and you don't necessarily quite need the educational award, you can gift that a large amount to a family member. And that's exactly what some members are doing for their grandchildren.
Wow, that's amazing. It's worth mentioning.
Yes.
Worth mentioning. So then what can one expect then? I think, like you said, a lot of people think it's young people. What are some of the roles that you think are the most rewarding? Doesn't matter which age you are, or can you even choose? There's so many.
Oh man, Pinnacles Prep, what an opportunity. The Wenatchee School District.
What is Pinnacles Prep?
Pinnacles Prep is the new charter school that is here in the Wenatchee area, which has up to 8th grade, I believe, for educational opportunities. Our AmeriCorps served in a kind of a makerspace role, which works with STEAM and STEM opportunities. Lily did a lot of different things, but she had so much fun at Pinnacles Prep this past year. So we're actually interviewing someone right now to be placed for the next school year. But, I even think, and cafe and hand-in-hand immigration have opportunities. So we try to not overwhelm the process in getting a ton of host sites, but we want to make sure there's a lot of opportunities for people. So we do interviews. We really try to meet that person with where they're at, try to customize the experience. It could be part-time or full-time. It's like, I always think it's like a matchmaking service, really. For both the host site.
So part-time or full-time, that's also a benefit.
Yep, 900 hours for part-time, which is in a 10.5 to 11-month time frame, or full-time, which is 1,700 hours.
Okay. So then the last question I have for you, we're just finishing up. We just have like less than a minute, just right at a minute. We talked about the Literacy Council earlier. For people who are interested in that program, it's next door to you and it's where you worked before. I know it's not where you're connected now, but you have a connection to it in your work history. How do people go about that? And just literally call them up and then they can get more information?
Right. Lonnie Walls is the director. You could call 662-6156, ask for Lonnie or the Literacy Council, and they will connect you. I think they do online tutorials or in person. So it's a great program. I recommend it to anyone who's learning ABE or ESL.
Okay.
And
well, thank you.
To other programs too. Chelan Douglas has a lot of different programs. So whether it be housing or oh gosh, weatherization. There's a lot of programs that are encompassed under our roof. So I'd be happy to connect people.
Perfect. Thank you, Erin. We need to do
Yeah.
a 2-segment show for you.
No, I
Take
appreciate you.
care. Yes,
Yeah,
thanks
thank
for being
you.
here.